This is Fallout 4. We're here on Xbox Series S. Be sure to like the video. Subscribing is great as well. And we're taking a look at the next gen update for the game, which allows us to enjoy some enhanced content, some new features, and, well, basically a new little adventure thing you can go on, and some extra weapons and gears and tools that we can enjoy. So it's a single-player experience set in the vast world of the Commonwealth, where you will be making choices, decisions, and actions that will impact this greater land as you emerge from Vault 111 in an attempt to find what happened to your child, who was taken as an infant. So, what are we getting here? Well, it's a situation just like what we have with the Series X version of the game, where it is technically broken. We'll try to provide some context here. So this does look like it's a dynamic 1440p, but it's really looking more in the realms of lower towards like 1080p in regards to like the murkiness and everything like that. It is 60 FPS. It does seem to be pretty good on 60 FPS. And it's, okay, again, it's kind of impossible to tell you what exactly the different modes are because they're broken, basically. So it's the same. You could switch between performance and quality mode, and yeah, it's the same. So we're gonna have to come back and revisit this in the future when this update is fixed, so that we can give you a proper idea of what it's supposed to be. And I know that's not the greatest thing, but hey, for now at least, you get to enjoy a higher frame rate and a better looking game. So that, to me, is inherently an excellent thing. So we did lose HDR. A lot of mods are kind of broken and whatnot, so you're going to have to play around with re-downloading mods and adjusting things, and hopefully that doesn't mess with your, well, I guess you would say saves and everything too much. But yeah, not a whole lot you can really do in that regard. And yeah, I don't know what to tell you for that. So yeah, the game's picture quality and fidelity, though, does look better on Series S now, which is great. It is smooth and fluid, and we'll be kind of showcasing some different areas that are a little bit more demanding. If you're wondering about my experience here, this is like a modded save, but only in the sense that I kind of have, like, I can't die and stuff, but, you know, there's no visual changes or anything like that to the overall save. So this is basically, it's a vanilla state setup and scenario, and hopefully one that will give us a good showcase of the game and a little bit of what it has to offer. And yeah, it is a bit of a shame that the game, especially after, I think it was like a year and a half wait for this current gen, because it's, you know, it was next gen then, now it's current gen update to the game. A little disappointing that it took so long and that it came out and it didn't have the proper feature set. Because I really was curious, actually, to see what the Series S was doing in terms of, like, because there's supposed to be a 40 FPS mode for those that are at 120 Hertz, but I'm pretty sure that's for the Series X, and I don't know if that really impacts the Series S, because again, not able to try it, right? Like, it's because it's broken. So that's hilarious, and such a Xbox and Bethesda kind of thing to do, right? So there we go for the technical elements of play. I think that about covers everything there. So Fallout is a single player experience where you are in the Commonwealth, exploring, picking your character, enjoy first or third person action, using your VAT system in order to eliminate people and creatures and other things, and exploring and making choices that will impact your journey and your adventure in the wasteland. It's a game of choice, decisions, and in general, differing paths based on what you do, who you interact with, the things you see along the way, and the adventures you have, your companions, your creatures that you have to take on, Everything like that comes down to your style. And man, I got some flair going on, I gotta tell you. And it's a little bit more fun if you do choose to mod things. I will definitely say that is ever so true. And I do wish they would have maybe done a little bit better of a job of preserving and increasing the mods allotment and everything like that. That kind of would have been really appreciated. And you know what, the Series S version of this, it's definitely a lot murkier than the Series X version, but it's still not a bad way to enjoy this great classic Fallout game that I'm thinking some people will probably be checking out for the first time, considering it's now fairly old. It really is, which is kind of wild. And it's a dynamic world with the day and the time and everything like that changing, and the weathering effects and the crazy things going on, the ghouls you have to face, the creatures you're battling. It's quite a great time. You get to visit some stunning locales, take on some ridiculous challenges, make ultimate decisions that will impact yourself, your journey, and the factions that you interact with. And it's kind of just like a wild time. Like, I love Fallout 4. I think it's incredibly well put together. There's so many fun weapons and tools. I'm still, to this day, discovering new things, finding lost secrets, going on weird new quests, adventuring in the wasteland, and having a great time while doing it. It's a lot of fun. It really genuinely is. If you've never played Fallout before, you have been missing out on one of gaming's greatest treasures. It's an apocalyptic mess, the bombs have dropped, and you are part of what remains. And you know what? It's somber. It's a little depressing at times, but it's an adventure that I think you will find truly fulfilling to go on, as you really just attempt to survive and battle along and see crazy things. You're special, and you're special in the sense that those are your skills as you level up, gathering new perks, tools, and weapons that allow you to take on the challenges that are present within this wasteland, as you vaporize foes, collect bottle caps, go on crazy adventures, and go a little bit further if you have the DLC. I highly, highly recommend Nuka World. It's like Disneyland if Coke owned it. And Nuka World is one of my favorite DLCs, I think, of all time, just in terms of like the environment and stuff, and there's different rides, and it's a great adventure. It really, truly is. And then you've got like Far Harbor as a fun little thing. I won't ruin the surprise of Far Harbor, but there's some creepy stuff you get to visit as you go and do that. But the game itself has a core, and some of the other DLC adds other fun little things that you can enjoy, like things to your camp. So a big part of the game is your settlement building. You're gathering supplies and tools in order to improve your settlement, or settlements. You have multiple settlements around the world, and they can trade with each other and do different stuff, and it's really, really quite interesting in the sense that your settlements, there's a bigger dynamic to them. I do wish it was more in depth after coming off of things like Starfield and whatnot, as that one does elevate the options in terms of like just how crazy you can kind of get for item placement and stuff. Like, this is the origins of that. You really can build all kinds of crazy stuff, though. I absolutely loved the level of detail, like building different beds and managing things and making sure there's food and supplies for your survivors, for your group of people that you're managing, and also some style for yourself so that you have a camp that is defended against the many creatures and things that try to destroy it or raid it. And I think that in itself is really, really quite cool. There really is a lot to see. There really is a lot to do. I love the wild quests you can have, the ridiculous things you can see on your journeys, the weird choices you could make. It's just all a whole lot of fun. And there's a surprising amount of depth in here. outside of the realm of just like kind of blasting stuff with an alien gun, you really can do all kinds of different stuff and just have kind of a wild time sort of doing it. Like, this game really is the ultimate adventure. And a nuclear one at that. I just shot a nuke. I just shot a nuke at you, and are you for real? Can you believe that, Piper? Wow, okay. There's elements of romance and discovery and treachery and twists and turns, and it's a little ridiculous. And while we've had the ability to have some decent stuff with like the FPS boost technology and whatnot, it is great that they did actually spend time giving this a proper current gen update. I think that's what the game more than deserves, as it was like really one of the big games of the previous generation. You know, we didn't get a whole lot of entries in some of our favorite series of games. So it was nice that Fallout didn't really leave us behind last gen, and I mean, I'm still awaiting the next Fallout, which will probably be in like the 2030s, but you know what? It'll probably be well worth the wait. I'm sure the adventure will be grand, and the places we'll go will be ridiculous. But for now, we've got this really well set up game that's just wondrous. Filled to the brim with detail, places to see, things to do, crazy adventures to have, and as I said, you're constantly coming across new things, new places, new like buildings you haven't gone into, new things that you can discover. It's wild. It's a little sad because, you know, obviously the world is just not what it once was, if you're, you know, kind of into the idea of the post-apocalyptic sense and how that can impact people. But you know, it's really, really quite neat. I think they absolutely just kind of nailed this game. Like, it's a great story, it's a great setup, and yeah, you know, again, the technical elements of, like, resolution and stuff are a little disappointing that they don't have that set up, but hey, I get to double up on videos, so that's kind of good for me. Maybe not the best for you, but, you know, not a whole lot I can do there. In that regard, but I do want to properly be able to showcase the update and everything for you, because you want to probably know how this is handling. So this is one of the big areas we always use as a test spot, because this is like where the performance usually kind of tanks the most, but yeah, as you can tell, it's looking smooth, it's looking good, it's handling well. Piper, that is really, really contaminated, radiated water that she's just totally just walking in like it's no big deal. Okay, Piper, she's a bit crazy today. She's losing her mind. But the core game itself is expansive. As I said, like, you literally can just play this for like days of time, like literally days of time, and you'll still like pop like up like see different types of like Easter eggs and secrets and weird creatures and stuff to fight and challenge. It's kind of amazing. There really aren't too many games that have this sense of like scope and design and freedom to them. Like, you really can just do whatever. You know, the goal is to actually go and find what happened to your kid, where your kid is, and kind of get them back. But that doesn't really ever seem to be the focus for people, or myself, or anyone else. You tend to just find yourself getting lost in this majestic landscape and just doing weird things, finding new creatures, and just exploring a really fun, awesome world. Like, I genuinely just love this game. I think it's so great. And it's one that continues to be rewarding today. Like, the gameplay is still fun, it's still ridiculous, and it just offers so much freedom. Like, for the skills you choose, the stats you want to pick and be, and every area feels well handcrafted. It feels filled to the brim with activities. And like, there's a lot of set dressing here in terms of buildings, but you can actually go into a lot of places. You can interact with a lot of scenes. You can load into other sections. You can see different spots, and like every part... Is that a person. No. Every part of this game has its own distinct flair and style to it. And if you spend enough time visiting enough places, you become more and more familiar with what they have to offer. And it's just so genuinely intriguing and impressive what you can do in this game. The things you can see, the creatures you can face off against. I think you could just have a great time with it. As I have for way too many days of time. Like, it's great. And then, of course, we've got, like, the mods. Oh, the Old North Church. And the mods are really fun, too. And I'll be working on some mod stuff. I'll be working on some mod videos. I don't know if we'll specifically do a Series S one, but if you want to see that, let me know, and I think we could maybe do a tailored kind of Series S video that kind of goes over the mods you should get for this platform. I don't know if I ever did that when we originally covered the current gen. I think that was mostly just for Series X that I did a mod video on, but maybe we should try to look at one for the Series S, because, you know, some mods can be more demanding than others, and it'd be good to get a selection of different choices for different people. But I think ultimately, if you haven't played this before, you're missing out on what's a great game. If you have played it, you're probably annoyed at me talking about what it is, because you are very well versed in it. But you gotta remember too, the game is, like I said, quite old, and this will be the first time that a lot of people are actually interacting with this game and seeing what it has to offer. Because again, it's pretty ancient. You know, it sounds really weird, but it's been around the block. People have played a lot of it. But since so much time has passed too, there's a whole like generation of people that literally have no idea of like what this game is and what it does and what you can do within it. And I think that in itself is kind of cool, because it just allows this sense of like people to come in and enjoy something and discover it for the first time, because I think it holds up really well. I think it's still a ton of fun to play. I have an absolute blast diving into this game and, you know, exploring, and like I said, coming across new things. That's kind of what gets me, is the fact that like there's still new things for me to come across. Like just the fact that I've explored so much, and yet still seen so little. Almost, it feels like it's amazing. It's a world where you can just kind of get lost in. You really genuinely can. Like, you can do just the craziest of things within it, and I think that makes it so fun and rewarding that you literally can just spend like a limitless amount of time playing it. And if you're not content with what you've played, you can go back and play it again and make another character and do a different path and do a different story. Like, I've done the male side usually a couple times, I guess, and then I tried the Nora, is what's known as the female character in this game, and she's fantastic. The voice acting and performance is so good there. I would highly actually recommend giving that a whirl if you're one of those ones that, you know, you played some of the games where you get to choose your character and it's like, wow, those female performers really just kind of nail things. But yeah, I think at the end of the day, what I really feel here is a sense of disappointment that we, A, that this, like, the resolution stuff's all weird, but B, that we don't have a new Fallout game coming anytime soon. Fallout 76 is pretty cool if you like Fallout and you want to play multiplayer with others. The base stuff, but like the expansions and the DLC and everything like that, really good, and I have videos of it on the channel and whatnot. But, you know, at the end of the day, I'm just kind of sitting here being like, I love Fallout. It's such a cool series. It's such a distinct style. There's such a level of like, I really don't know how to describe it. It's wonder, and it's wondrous, because there's so much to see and so much to do. And the world is so alluring and so filled with creativity. And it sucks that another one is so far down the road. I don't know, maybe someone will be reflecting upon this video. Probably not, since it'll be a replacement for it when it gets fixed, but you'll be reflecting upon this some way down the road and be like, oh, there's a new Fallout. And I'll be like, I waited so long for this. Too long. Some would say a lifetime almost, but yeah, I can't wait for the next Fallout adventure, but that's Fallout on the Series S for this update. I hope this helped.